The proof is in the pudding. My hair has not changed between 2 of these weeks. But we're back. It's week 5 for PEL. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the analysis desk. My name is still Kylaris. And to the left-hand side, we have Froz and we have Avenger. Boys, we're back. It's a new week. And we are looking at what is currently a new league table with FaZe on top, as opposed to TSM having led throughout the entirety of Phase 3 thus far.
Well, it's also the penultimate week now, and that, in my book, is always the most important week coming into this one, because you want to set yourself up for the next week. And of course, next week is going to be important, but this one is all about what mindset, what kind of points are you going to come into the last week with?
Want to start with building the momentum now so you can go into the Super Week. Even though it's a lot of games, we're going to have 21 games in the last week. You really want to don't be behind everyone. So you want to try to get ahead, want to try to get the momentum going right now.
It's a very good point, as of course that 6th week will be a super week. So very cool to kind of see how that's going to go down once it does. However, we have week 5 now. As you mentioned, a very important week itself, not only for the points and the standings that are going to be shifting around here as well, but also for these teams competing for global points moving forward to try and get themselves to PGC. And there is some kind of close standings in the running to try and push themselves into those top 5-6 spots.
Yeah, currently NIP is sitting on the 6th place with 405 global points.
Yeah.
And of course, just behind there, you have Knights, CrowCrowd, Raise Your Edge, and Reciprocity. One big thing to take out is that both NIP and CrowCrowd, they ended on the same global points from Phase 2. And currently, CrowCrowd is 12 global points behind NIP. So it's a big battle there. You don't want to be tying up with them.
It's so close, and I think obviously, as we talked about, we want to start the lead now.
Yeah.
It's 12 points, it's a good day versus a bad day. We saw last week, FaZe Clan had 52 points more than TSM had, so there's massive shifts that can go on. Obviously, you want to try to build the lead right now. NIP, though, they are looking very good. I think they are one of the teams that have developed best throughout the first 2 weeks going into the 3rd and 4th, so I kind of expect that to continue, so I'm expecting them to end in the top 6.
While they have been rising up, there's one team that has not done it. They've been doing the opposite. Team Liquid. The past 2 weeks have been very bad for them, and I mean they need to step it up right now.
Let's take a look at how things are shaping up here for our weekly standings of PEL Phase 3, of course, here as 9th through 16th. We see that Raise Your Edge, unfortunately for them, fell quite a little bit, but Desperado was able to move quite dramatically when it came to the overall standings, boys.
Yeah, I mean that was their best week so far, and not that the previous week was too bad either. They had 92 points that week, but always getting over 100 points a weekend, it's really good.
Yeah, and on top of that, also another team that did develop a lot throughout from week number 1 and week 2 is the Desperados. They had 65 and 59 before that, so their development is looking very promising. But remember again, guys, if they have to go, if they want to get to PGC, they have to win the whole thing, and it's not looking like FaZe Clan is going to stop anytime soon.
That is difficult indeed. The 2 of the teams here in the Big 5 have moved down 1 spot, but FaZe Clan moved up 2. So great stuff from them to be able to see them take that number 1 spot. A question that a lot of people are asking is, will they get a back-to-back FaZe win here when it comes to Phases 2 and now into 3, as they're up towards the top, 462 points.
Wouldn't that be amazing to have a back-to-back Phase winner? We're having MPL, Temple Storm, they won Phase 1, won Phase 2, currently with what, 50-point lead in Phase 3 right now, and they're on this last weekend now.
Very top-heavy region.
Yeah, agreed.
We're pretty top-heavy here as well, I'd say.
Of course. With the 5 games coming at you today, we have Miramar, Sandhawk, and then Erangel concluding the day as always. So speedy stuff there to get things rocking. Actually, look at that. The Sandhawk game has a little bit less time than the other ones. Well played, team. Well played. Because it doesn't take as long. So there you go in the schedule. So coming into week 5, guys, what teams do you want to talk about? Obviously, as you've been kind of watching them going from week 4, now coming in here, looking to find themselves a bit more traction.
For me, it's all about Liquid, honestly. We've been seeing them falling off, and as I just said, they don't look like a PGC team right now.
Yeah.
They need to step it up, and one of the big things for them is their rotations, I feel like. When they're rotating right now, they lose a lot of people, and then they come down to having 1-2 players towards the end, 1 player sneaking in, and just trying to get a few placement points. But they need to win those rotation fights, because instead of losing the players, we see them a lot, they would just stop and take the fight when someone gets knocked in rotation. And when they do that, in the start of the phase, they were winning the fights.
Sure, sure.
But right now, they're losing every fight more or less when they do it.
Well, the thing I want to focus on from that, Froz, is that you said that right now they don't look like a PGC team, which is the big overarching notion of that. Do you kind of agree with that sentiment, Avenger?
Well, as we've talked about before as well, is also if you want to be ahead of the meta, you have to start kind of shifting it and shaping it through your league, because they are still currently 4th. They're sitting pretty good. They're looking pretty good overall, but you don't want to fall down to a point where you're kind of getting worried if you're able to and capable of staying in the top 4.
I mean, you have a team like N47. They're 25 points behind of Team Liquid, and they don't even have a win yet.
No, and on
Imagine
top
if
of
they did.
Yeah, and I actually talked to Ival and I asked him, so is this the week that N47
Is this the week?
Is this the week that N47 is gonna get a win? And he told me, nope, we're gonna wait till last week. So I'm okay with that, and if that's what he's saying, we're gonna stick to that.
Yeah.
But another team I want to talk about is also Na'Vi. Are they gonna kind of jump back into the fight with the top two kind of placements? Because right now they're sitting a little bit of amount of points behind the top 2 teams, FaZe Clan and TSM. And it's looking like they're becoming a very solid 3rd right now, but I want to see them back into the fight with the top 3.
What I see from Na'Vi, though, they're going a little bit up and down from every week. But what's good to see from Na'Vi is that they're trying out playing both edge, they're playing center, and they're trying to figure out, all right, how do we do both of them? Because they're preparing themselves for PGC.
And all of these players are preparing to get into our first game as well here on Miramar. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Not only a big shout out to one of our sponsors in DXRacer for providing all of these players with the comfiness that they require to frag out here in PUBG, but also a big shout out to our new sponsor in Samsung, who we're representing here with the C27 RG5 curved monitors, 240 hertz. That's a lot of hertz. As we get into Miramar now to get things going on the desert, it's time for Pansy and it's time for Demon.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, here we go for week number 5, match 61, and it is getting a little tense, I would say, out there. There's 2 weeks remaining.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking at that top of the table and thinking there's 6 PGC spots up for grabs. The desk have just took you through all the different variations of what's available to them. But Lauren, it's I don't know if you've been talking to many of the players, it's definitely starting to feel the tension out there a little bit.
That seems to always be the way, doesn't it, with PEL? It feels like you have this marathon, and then suddenly there's all this pressure at the end of it. They're like, oh, wait, here we go. Now we've got to really buckle down, and these final weeks really do count. I'm glad to see FaZe back, you know, actually really clawing up some points. They'd actually managed to do very well for themselves in those last couple of moments there. And I'm glad the desk brought up, again, that question mark around Liquid recently. They have become a little bit quieter. And I'm one of the biggest fans when they play well. They're a beautiful team to watch. Late game, I don't think there's many others who can do it the same, but they are getting caught in those rotations. So as you said, it is, yes, those 6 teams that can go through, but even now we're seeing so many teams able to throw spanners in the works. Maybe not getting the wins necessarily, but they can all fight now. They can all catch teams on rotations.
Yeah, and obviously you've always got that backstop of the percentage of points coming from Phase 2, which is kind of like the buffer zone, but you know, it's only going to take another whole week for somebody to suddenly slip right out of that one. Obviously, Team Liquid, they have had 2 bad weeks. I just had a good chat with 17 and James and Ibby. They've had a good week, apparently. Good weeks, sort of prep and practice, and everybody getting their heads together. And I caught the end of like 17 discussing with them. It's like, you know, it's actually very rare that you get to actually listen in on the coaching tips, but they were quite happy to carry on talking about while I was there.
Yeah.
And they're basically just saying, like, we're focusing on the basics. Stop thinking 3-4 steps ahead. And like James was saying, it's like normally we're thinking, okay, this circle's coming up. We need to make sure this house is clear to move here, to move into the next spot, to give us that pod position. Instead, go back to, you know, your high percentage of getting your points, getting. Don't go for those. We're going to get a 20-kill game, because it's like, as I said to him, it's like, I think with max we've had is a 17-kill game, which is what G2 equalized with Na'Vi, if I'm not mistaken.
I know
but
TSM
outside of
were
that,
up there. There's been a few, but you can't aim for
we're not seeing those massive 20-plus kill games. The
teams are too
the
good.
lobby's
they don't
too
make
strong.
Mistakes. Yeah, it's again, this is the one thing that I think people have realized, especially this season more than others, is that all these teams are incredibly good. You know, teams will there's favorites, there's teams, there's players who outperform others, but the margin is getting smaller and smaller here. So you can't just bank on having one of those games because people don't make the mistakes to allow you to get away with it. I don't think we see a player currently who can force that sort of performance on others. No one is that good. There's some very good individuals, but no one's that good to force that many errors out of entire teams now.
Yeah, and we've seen it so many times with, obviously, everybody dreams of that moment. You sneak up behind a team and you manage to wipe them all out or something. It simply doesn't happen anymore because the teams will react quick enough that you'll maybe get one down and a knock and maybe be able to flush, and then there's a re-knock. There's a refrag on you instantly. You just don't get those dream moments. Obviously, as a gamer, as a player, you always still see it, but it's starting to become reality that these teams are looking out of it. But let's talk about the circle. Let's talk about where we're going because predominantly Los Leones is in this circle, and it is a circle that favors the boys on your screen, Team Liquid. They do tend to go for these compounds just in the distance. They used to clash with Unity there in Phase 2. I think they should be safe for now. GamerLegion are kind of nearby, though, and 7.
Yeah, I mean, with this sort of circle, I always look just towards the west of Los Leones, that hillside that rolls down. You'll have, that's probably where most teams will. Yeah, exactly. This is the kind of magnetized area where everyone's going to look towards getting maybe a cheeky little spot early on. But we know these teams scout well these days. They don't get thwarted by just that one man holding it, so teams really have to commit as a collective now. Nice little pickup here for GamerLegion. Really good little compound, still very close by, not too far off. Maybe slightly further out than they'd like, but again, this is investing in the future for them. I'm looking at teams on the outskirts. I'm looking at your Navis, your I don't want to say FaZe. They're not that far out, but they're further enough out that they don't get the easy jump off. They would have to fight their way in. These are the ones that are going to struggle slightly just with this circle.
Yeah, and obviously we've had the heat maps, etc. We're trying to figure out where these circles go. Nice Mark 14 for Rustanmar. Be happy with that. We're expecting it to go down south of Los Leones. We'll see whether it goes through on those hill lines. It has been pretty common down in and around that area. It'd be interesting to see it drift back to Picado. We haven't seen a circle in and around that area for a long time, which is center mast.
Yeah, it'd be quite curious. I'm waiting to see where it goes. I think the next one's quite telling normally. It can kind of shift away. Obviously, it will move away from the water eventually, but you'll see how long it might be able to sit towards it. For me, it's how do people position currently is what's interesting me. Liquid's still quite split apart. They do have these kind of very individual, held-up position. Yeah, it's a bit brave and brazen for this point, and I don't know if they can get away with it, but we'll find out. That's always the thing with Liquid, isn't it? It's always that up in the air, but we have been looking at those rotations that have got them caught in the past. Beyond that, though, most people are playing quite safe. I don't see many 2-2 splits in contested areas. I don't see many teams risking it for ground gain. Now, looking at where I was looking, for example, before FaZe, going way further south here, going south of Chumacera. Miracle almost going south in the car. But no, beyond that, I think teams will just have to accept the outskirts if they're not already in that center point.
DA continue to move. They dropped sort of around Los Leones. They obviously not still comfortable with their position. Bearing in mind we're at 6 minutes. That's a good bit of damage on Vazku. Looks like he might get away with it until he flips the car.
He just turtled that.
Oh no, he's hit the rock. He's going to have to get out. There's no way. Mert catches him with another tap and he's down to nothing. Can he get the spray down and blow the car up from this range? He's got help. Yes, he has.
God,
but Vazku, 1 hit point and he survives.
That's so fortunate. I don't know how he's gotten away with that. I don't know if he can stay alive much longer. He has a bit of fight back in him. He's just kind of orientating himself around this. And going to try and maybe buy a couple of seconds on these angles, put the smoke down, make sure no one's going to be pressuring him straight away. Luckily for him, in a way, DA aren't exactly the team who'll roll up on this normally. They're quite happy in where they've taken. That used to be one of the very common compounds it could end on. Vazku's now found that Defilade. He's going to just move himself away. Yeah, and just fall back down the hill. Should be safe. I don't know if there's anyone nearby. Ival is kind of on his way, so we'll get picked up, I would assume. G2 still late movers. Na'Vi coming down low as well. I expect to see them slowly rolling into position. It does surprise me we're only seeing so many down on this south edge. I feel that's where it's going, but we'll see where. You never know. It might center up and then it will surprise us and we'll get one of those big Los Leones finishes. I'd love a Leones finish. It just never happens. No, in my eyes, it is where Liquid, Reciprocity, GamerLegion, maybe FaZe, around that marker. It's the very common ending in my eyes. I always feel it's there, but as I said, it can move around. It's just you're looking at likelihoods. Na'Vi going to have to maybe decide that they cannot pick up a prime position at this point, and that's why I always like watching them play in these scenarios, because they have to then fight their way in. They have to kind of try and get those moments so perfectly. Now, beyond that, though, it will be curious if it hard shifts anywhere, just because these teams have really gone for those central positions. Honestly, and I've given a lot of flack towards ENCE because they're one of those teams I always wanted to see do well, and they've had a real shocker. whenever I've casted them. But they have a really fun point to play from in Los Leones. If it does ever hard shift, they get to be the gatekeepers. Same with Reciprocity, for example. All of those positions do pay a really fun time. Where did they just come from?
But just wondering.
Is that Monkey? Or it was a weird angle that just came in from.
It had to be. Is it Nip that's out there or ENCE? It's ENCE that's out there. It's ENCE. It had to be ENCE. Yeah, unless Monkey's just trolling Shiv.
Yeah, just tapping away.
Just totally possible, but...
I have no idea where that came from to hit the wall like that, but G2, just about making the circle. I think they're the last ones to come through. They're out in the east, that's fine. They have nowhere to go. Yeah, beautifully done. Very
feeling much better, by the way, Linksy, this week.
Just, not feeling off anymore?
I said you still sound very nasal. He said, no, it's just my voice. It's just...
That's nice.
He said, I can't have this beautiful face and not have a nasal voice.
That's very true. Can't get both. So now, let's spin over here, because this is a nice little one. TSM and Na'Vi, I don't think they'll want to fight this. I think they'll kind of be forced to it. Yeah, exactly. For these two teams especially. Now, Na'Vi kind of, I think they maybe stepped a little too far here. They went past Picado pretty hap-handedly, and now they found TSM, who took their time a little bit more on that eastern road of Picado. And you've got CrowCrowd not far off either. Here we go. This is what I kind of expect. Yep. That's got a little bit more south than I imagined in it. But again, this plays to that western side of Los Leones. Very common spot. I think DA really needs to solidify themselves, because that is going to be either a rotation area or someone's going to try and pick that up really quickly. Yeah,
Mitraleius looks like he's in that lot of that horribly defensible area. I think they're probably going to go down to ubah, which looks like he's running down. I'm going to join them because 7 are coming straight at them. Edelweiss, I can see, is going directly straight towards Mitraleius. Mitraleius will get in his vehicle and get the hell out of there. Na'Vi, CrowCrowd, looks like they're going to take a western rotate down to the south side. They're going to be joining the likes, but unfortunately, it's already getting very crowded down in that central position. 7 have already just shifted south, and everybody's sort of domino rally down southwards. G2, look at this late rotate. It's paid off, hasn't it? They're coming in from that eastern side, and they've got pretty much the hills themselves.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest benefits to playing that way, isn't it? Because you know no one's really sat centralized on...
SKUIJKE, that was your own vehicle, son.
Goodbye.
Gexy's looking at it, is like, well, that was easy. I'll take that kill.
This is what I mean about ENCE, man. I get my hopes up, I enjoy watching them, I talk about them in a nice light, and then that happens. It's like,
that was SKUIJKE's car, right? Not Gax's.
I think it was SKUIJKE's. Honestly, I don't know. It kind of came out of nowhere.
It's not. It's not. We're not on the. We're on Classic Erangel, and it's the Classic Erangel, Classic Miramar,
yeah.
And we're not on the patch where you can turn the vehicle off and just roll it down at someone. So, which is, it's like a. I'm still not too sure what to make of that. The roll-ups, I think, is going to be very entertaining when it comes into pro mode.
And who didn't used to love like ghosting cars and you know armor and stuff like that?
Exactly.
That was
That's
the
where
one
it's come
that
from,
you ghost cars in. That used to be. So, you know, I went back and played DayZ recently. What a weird time that is. Bit of DayZ, bit of armor. Oh, rolling back
what was their exciting? They had an exciting announcement, didn't they? Announcing an announcement. The classic announcing of an announcement. Oh no, Team Liquid, what is happening here? SIMSY and James both
Liquid
down
on rotations, having problems.
They're gone. They're not getting out of that.
Nah, that's a twofer.
It's a case of who steals it. miikaz is going to get the 1. It's Gustav and ENCE all shooting this way. And Team Liquid just down the hill. Nothing they can do about it. And that's 2 gone early on for Team Liquid.
TSM look like they might be jumping in on this a little bit. Look at Iroh, look at Gustav. They're getting quite close to maybe considering taking this over. And they've come in from nothing. They're on the further out Picado side.
Look at Michael and Rory. They're kind of blasting across.
They're piling in. And if you know this is Liquid here, if you're well aware of it, why not? That's a case of no fear. And TSM have been one of those teams recently who've been absolutely perfect in the way they've been playing. Really enjoying that. Iroh, brilliant addition towards it, really stepping up. And Ibby's going to try and maybe keep him away, but I think they know what's happened here, and they can smell blood in the water.
They may
be... Oh, Michael just pulling up.
Maybe going for a 16th there. Ibby's already having to flash the stairs and smoke it out. He's got no nades to help himself here. So pressure early on. Shots outside. That's Jemty with the AK, trying to keep them at bay, but look at them. They're getting surrounded here with a 2v4. They've got to try and make it work in their advantage somehow.
Jemty getting loose is really good for them. Maybe he can try and help out Ibby here. I don't know. Ibby is being just pressured from everywhere, and Ibby's one of those players that can do wonders, but they have to be making mistakes for him to get away with it. A little bit of contact made. Ibby's looking, and Jemty's got eyes on it too. There's Rory already finding Ibby. Nate confirms what started. And again, we see Liquid down to 1 man. I don't know if he can snake
He's running up the hill. Iroh's up the hill, I think. Is that Iroh or Gustav that's up there? It's Gustav that's up on the hill. So as soon as he tries to run, he's escaping the rest of the team. But Gustav is going to see him. The second he comes over the brow of that hill, he should be in range for Gustav or even ENCE. ENCE, remember, that's where the bodies of Genty, and there's Gustav to finish it off. And Team Liquid 16th place, 0 points. Not the start they wanted.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling to have, and you just feel so bullied by everyone in that scenario. Now let's look at the circle again. It has moved since last, and it's gone pretty much polar south. This is not an uncommon one. I think this is a really nice position to be in. I think we all remember Seven's position. That used to be one of the very strong compounds that had so many ends towards it, but G2, you're looking at that right now. They've actually gone away with, again, a very good positioning coming off that eastern side.
But I'm surprised that they've gone for the right side of the road. We've seen it finish on this left side of the road a number of times. And I'm wondering if they've gone with that. Maybe they've got a bit of forethought. The players generally know a lot better than we do, that's for sure. DA, they had a great position, but that's 2 down as the Mirado goes up in flames to Desperados. And you got to wonder, how has this happened to a team that had a great central position a moment ago?
Oof. It's happening to a lot of teams, apparently. Teme's gone down now. Of course, this is CrowCrowd, who are forced to move. They were way out on the extremities, having to try and find a way in, and they did clash with FaZe, and you have N47 in there. You have the Knights not too far off either. There's plenty of people in the way, and this is the scary factor now, is that there's so many teams watching these outskirts, and there's the trade-in. T-Bone found mxey, and even though, yes, FaZe did punish CrowCrowd, they've instantly got fought back.
And look at Na'Vi's rotate. So they ended up, instead of going western and south, like CrowCrowd have, they went west and north, and they've gone all the way around the edge of Los Leones and come in on the eastern side of Los Leones, sort of almost behind NIP and ENCE, which is a big rotate for them, but it has paid off. It's given them still 4 alive. They have just lost the vehicle, so Senya's been caught out by NIP there. Just all on the outskirts of Los Leones here. Back over on the western side, TSM, we saw them engage with Team Liquid and taking them down, but it does put them out of position as they now are going to get collected by GamerLegion and N47 as they try and blast on through, just like we saw DA doing.
God, TSM, this is a really risky rotation route. They're just sending it right in between 2 teams. This is a very, very scary prospect in front of us. And I don't know how well they're going to do from this. I don't know how much is available. Drayden's not far off this either. And then you got the Desperados as well. This is a very, very tough spot for a team who's willing to fight, but I don't think they can find a good fight for this. And they look a bit lost. They look like they don't know where to go here. They've lost out on the timing, and now they have a very poor position to play from.
Yeah, straight into the hay bales with the Knights up on the back. So you can see Drayden. He's tossing nades already towards him. I don't think he's got the arm yet. He's a big lad, but I don't think he could toss it that far. As the Knights will, I think the saving grace for TSM is that they're down height. You can see there's just that defilade where that trailer is. There's just that defilade there that they have.
It's keeping them somewhat safe.
Yeah, it keeps them safe for now. We'll see where the circle goes. Okay, it favors them a little bit. Desperados, though, looking golden in their compound.
Yeah, Desperado's getting away with a wonderful bit of positioning here. This is what you're looking at. 7 quick on the move, same with G2. They know this is the one that's going to mean that southern side becomes available. And I love this terrain on the southern side here of Los Leones. It's incredibly hilly. You have real terrain to play with, which you don't often have. We do see a couple of knocks going out. This would be very punishing. You'll see perpetual knocks at this point.
Where's Rick going? They've got nowhere to go. They're coming blasting in behind 7, behind G2. I don't really know.
I would say there is terrain to hide in. There's not good ground. There's no hard cover. You have to play with just, nice defilades, trying to hide away from certain teams, and that's where they're going to lose out. It looks like TSM are finally being folded upon by the Knights. Drayden's already there towards Gustav, and I'm wondering if they're going to pressure that issue.
Well, they found themselves a ditch. They're happy. Reciprocity. They've got DA, just 2 members down to the south. They're going to keep on pushing in towards this fight here. This is out on the edge here, and NIP actually coming out very well with the miikaz down. They came in later than ENCE. Fuzz going to get back on his feet. This is still way up north for FaZe Clan, almost on the edge of the blue. They're not even close. GamerLegion are keeping them very busy. And 7, they're getting folded on G2 and Reciprocity.
It looked like they were maybe trying to split a little bit, or maybe they just hadn't fully committed to this position yet because they were trying to deal with everything else. Hence, where Reciprocity had managed to take a little bit of ground here. Edelweiss was the only one out there. The rest of 7 weren't quite in that position. You can see Sadovnik, Buster a little bit further off in the background. I think there's one more with them as well. So, again, it's not over yet. Edelweiss does get wiped. That's not too surprising. G2 could third party. I'm seeing Yannis with a nade, so maybe there could be another knock for 7 in their near future.
Look at Snark. He's got behind. Like, you can see him down there. He's behind all of M47 here. He's taking shots, and Ivor suddenly turns around, realizes him. He knocks 2 N47 members just like that, and he should be able to get the flush as well because the 2 teammates, T-Bone and Page, are too far down the south to support. And, well, 2 points for Snark there. T-Bone does take him down. Can they get him before the bleed finishes? Meanwhile, you can see FaZe Clan GamerLegion are just camping them out. GamerLegion are not in the circle here. They are simply going for playing for points.
But I think they know well enough that they have a little bit of a compound to springboard to. So they should be okay playing from this. And I think they've played from here before and they did well from it, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not too worried about them. Just I'm hoping they scouted that and that wasn't luck that it was available. You know what I mean? It's one of those, I'll give them the credit and pretend that they meant it. If they did, really well done, because you want to get those points. You want to make sure no team's coming in behind you. You want to have that safety to be able to focus forward. Now, let's look about focusing forward. N47 looking for more options here. You have TSM to the north, the Knights to the east. They're looking for ways around here. Maybe the south is their best bet, but raise your edge. Good cover, good little bit of positioning. Lynxy with a big boy gun as well.
Yeah, we'll see whether he can push in. Lynxy had a... It was incredible last week for Razor Edge. They had the 1 point day on Friday. One to forget. But then they came out with equal highest points for the weekend. It was bizarre.
Mad, isn't it?
Bizarre weekend. So you never rule any team out. T-Bone note, getting Snark and finishing him off. That's the bleed. They did manage to get one back up on his feet, Vazku, but Ivor has been lost for N47. G2 making the moves. You can see Chris was trying to get a little bit of a flank and look at Reciprocity, realizing that's not going to happen out of the ditches.
No Man City jokes about FaZe? Or are you waiting for those?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll give it a little bit of time.
Yeah, they're 6 points behind Liverpool, so I'm all right at the moment. So,
so you can give them a bit of grief, but not too much.
Start bringing it in at the moment. Fuzzy's still out in the blue. There we go. There's one. See, that was subtle.
That was subtle.
That was subtle. I know, right? I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lady Man Smith.
Subtlety has never been my best point. But anyway, this circle is pretty harsh. It's left Razor Edge. Basically, the Desperado and the Knights are kind of trying to work their way in there. Desperado's got a bit of a ditch to work with, but you can see Reels has already gone down. Not a great deal. Anyone over the north side of that road, though, is in really desperate times. Desperados have got to try and get across now. TSM, N47, GamerLegion, all out there, and of course Fuzzface still the solo man. But anyone that's the other side of that road, that is a horrible position to be in now with this rotate.
Yeah, this is the one that's going to kill half of the lobby. When you look at a circle like this, when you look at where it kind of cuts off, this is the one that does you in. Now, actually, Wanted could be an absolute thorn in the side. If he was feeling like a big boy, he could peek that ridge. Now he gets peeked. You get that peek's advantage against you. Coda Mentor's there, and there goes Wanted. It was a tantalizing prospect when we know what's on the other side. He has no idea if they're looking his way or not. I'd have loved him to push for that. But playing for survival now, Drayden's forced down into a spot where really you cannot be the aggressor in any scenario. Finally, Fuzzface falls.
So Team Liquid out 16th, FaZe Clan out 15th. Here we go. Time to wake up. ENCE go down 14th place as Senya puts pate to them. TSM may well be following them in 13th place because they're in all sorts of trouble along with N47. Desperado's doing a great job of gatekeeping until Bjorn strikes. What in the world? Ultra and Calvin Klein just got decimated by Bjorn. GamerLegion on the flank. We saw them earlier. They've already got clicked themselves quite a few points here because they've already took down 3 members of FaZe Clan. That nade wasn't quite cooked to land on TomiL's noggin. We'll be able to get away with it.
TomiL. A little bit of a dead nade to buy him some time. That was actually a nice bit of play. Just going to nade it out, even though it wasn't fully ticked, to be able to readjust well. Hopefully they can reestablish some ground, but that one is ticked, and actually SIMSY could be in danger. Yeah, that connects well. Now TomiL's on the run. He's got to get out of there, try and maybe reconvene with someone else, or just move away and play survival. A little bit of a rock face to fall to, but this is not ideal for the Desperados at all. TomiL, it looked quite nice for a little bit. It looked like he could have had a little bit of a fight back there, slow them down on the playthrough, and he may just decide to be spoiler for them.
Does Fex hear him? I think he does. I think he knows that someone is trying to creep up behind.
Fake nade.
Tries to toss it out the side. Fex sees him, catches the headshot. Can't get the second. Mackendak's there for the refrag. Takes him down. TSM now also in trouble in the picture-in-picture here. They've clashed with N47, and it is not going well for them. Rory just last man standing for TSM. N47 forced to go north, though, and they're going to bump into the back of GamerLegion. Luckily for them, they're already on the move. Razor Edge will catch out N47, and they're down in 12th.
Yeah, that northwestern side has been thoroughly punished. Reciprocity, G2, all getting the benefits of that very centralized area that Reciprocity really dove for. They went in there and they took that fight, and they've, I guess, reaped the benefits. Now, we are down to 10 teams. I was expecting maybe a little less already, but they are clinging on for dear life. Razor Edge are under fire from several fronts here. That's not an easy path in.
It's open. They've got nothing. They've got nothing. Look at it. That is just a horrible position. There is zero cover between them, GamerLegion, Reciprocity 7. all looking down the hill towards them. Smokes is all they can use. The util, just the odd little ditch. That's what GamerLegion are trying to do now. If they can get across the road into this ditches, it does give them the barest of cover from Raise Your Edge, which are going to be looking up the hill at them. But that also causes problems now for Raise Your Edge, and they're going to get caught out.
Yeah, even just moving that a little bit further forward for Raise Your Edge is going to be hard. I don't think they're in currently. That's the bigger problem. They're going to have to find a way through. Na'Vi's going to send it out towards the eastern side. They're getting 5 from NIP in the south, and 7 and probably G2 once they start knocking. But that's a good little dip to go to. Very well scouted. And actually, G2 being in a bit of a bother could give them some room to establish and stabilize.
That was a good move. Now they were the ones that got the knock on G2.
Oh,
so
perfect.
they got the knocks, and they thought, right, okay, let's move, reposition. Senya doing some absolute work there. Nade. Oh my God, look at this nade. Oh, that is perfect. Tiikzu catching it out. Some big plays from Big Tiikzu, making it work out. Only the 2 CrowCrowd members left, but they have just gained themselves a lot of points just for that little play. G2 feeling the pressure though as they're starting to get breached. Senya finds Krabic there as he manages to get caught out on the side as Drayden finally goes down. 10th place for the Knights.
Yeah, down to 9, and everyone's clutching at straws here. There is enough room. I'd say G2 could get split apart, though. They're having to fight on 2 fronts. 7's very close by, and they want in. Buster gets a connection, but not enough to take down anyone. That's a molly, and third-party City coming in. Buster needs to be careful. You don't want to go down with a molly in the hand.
I think he realized it. Quick switch weapon, get out of there.
No
Jumped out. I think
tonight.
he expected nades to come in, actually. They're both bailed out the window. Obviously, he heard something, a pin pull, but...
Well, look, Monkey's got a nade. If that goes
through...
through...
Look at Miraku. Miraku might have an angle on Na'Vi here. You can see he's got him... Oh, okay, they see each other. Aduz is also trading shots with him. Makandark, just the last man standing for GamerLegion. Trying to keep them in it. Reciprocity, I tell you, that dive from Reciprocity has absolutely paid dividends, hasn't it?
Isn't that a brilliant one as well? They got the, 4v1 fight, essentially, against one of the members from 7. And 7's got to be kicking themselves. They had it all, and now they have this shack. What a turn of events for them. Na'Vi may be looking for more eventually, but for now they can stabilize. I'm looking to see beyond this. If it hard shifts, then we have fun. I'd like to see it move away almost from Reciprocity and 7, just to really throw a spanner in the works, but it's going to just sit right on them. Kings of the hill.
They're loving it. And they've just got this 2-2 because they're either side of this big long compound, which is covering so much. The only downside, I would say, is I haven't seen them getting too many kills from the position they have, but there's still 23 players alive, so plenty of chances. Looking outside, NIP down south are going to keep on moving, it seems. Sixmo's trying to get himself a little closer. He's actually making a move to one of those shacks, maybe. Na'Vi are going for it. Na'Vi have moved down their G2. They've gone for the compound. PokeMoldoi looks like it's going to be the pull, and that's the knock. NELLOZ going down. PokeMoldoi instantly reacts and comes in and bursts the house.
Do they know that CrzyZZ is still there? I don't think they've cleared the entire bathroom yet. That could be a bit of a problem. If he's still alive, he can maybe take one flush, do something to really play a bit of a nuisance game in this. Raise Your Edge moving in. Braexco does get caught off. A doozy confirms, but they have left CrzyZZ unattended. And Yannis just needs to stay alive. If he can just buy time, you're hoping that CrzyZZ would have landed that shot there. That was his one big moment to be able to maybe throw something against them. But now they're all his way, right?
This was your moment.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, he fluffed his lines there. Raise Your Edge will go down. That's down in the edge to CrowCrowd doing the job. That's 2 members of CrowCrowd. They've wiped out 4 members of Raise Your Edge, by the way. Tiikzu with the nades getting 3 of them. Yannis has decided to go outside. They're pushing 7's little shack now. That's how pressured they've been from there. Yannis tries to come around, but Buster meets him. That's his shack, and nobody else is coming in.
Yeah, not quite a swamp, but it will be a shack for now. Senya, I actually like Senya not being in the building with them as well. It does mean that he can keep Overwatch on it a little bit. I don't know if that's an intentional bit of a play there, but I think it's a really nice one if they are aware of it. And it being Senya, I feel like he is aware of that. A very cerebral player as well. CrzyZZ left on his lonesome, unable to do much. Senya going to come back in as the blue moves forward, going to try and consolidate forces here, and probably just watch for CrzyZZ to move out. He actually has managed to already move. I don't know if PokeMoldoi caught a glimpse of him then. I don't think he did, so CrzyZZ is actually in the wind right now.
Managed to get away with it. Is he going to get into the little shack? Is anyone from Na'Vi looking? PokeMoldoi sees him last second. 8 hit points, and he gets inside just about. Oh no, Buster maybe saw him as well, because that nade, he went the other side.
God.
You can see he's only got level 1 gear on, so he's not in the best of situations. But the circle shrinks, and you know what? He's in the new circle. Na'Vi are not.
Yeah, I don't know how they let him get away with that. Yeah, there was a little bit of low ground he could run to, but you've got to hope someone's keeping tabs on the one man closest by you. So now between Buster and Chris, they can make it annoying for Na'Vi to move out. That's the bigger problem. And then you get, the big brother coming in of reciprocity. Like, how dare you mess with my little brother? I'm gonna beat you up. So they're just waiting in the wings, and there goes Tiikzu. Nice nade, but not nice to stay alive. Now Buster goes down to best lodge, so that opens up the route. Can they get any closer here? I don't know what line of sight Reciprocity would have on Na'Vi's rotation out of here, but Chris is still moving.
That's a 9-kill game for GamerLegion so far. I've had a good start. They are down to 1 player though, so it's going to be a minimum 10-point game for them, so they're going to be delighted with that. Chris flanks by. SKUIJKE sat waiting. Oh, he's just got vision on Vard. He's got no cover. This is a straight fight he has to take, and NIP will end up taking him down. They are down the south. They have the south to themselves at the moment, which is good territory for them. Mac and Dark over on the western side. Na'Vi now make the move with Chris gone. They're going to just move into that shack. And now it's down to really Reciprocity and Na'Vi. They are the 2 teams with 4 alive. NIP are clearing up down south.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put NIP beyond it. They still have 3, and they actually have a big bit of ground to play with if they don't get caught off by a Na'Vi potentially. I don't think Reciprocity are going to move that way without having a fight against Na'Vi anyway. So overall, this is quite a fun battle, and like, credit where it's due. Okay, Reciprocity won. That rotation that gave them this, that is a ballsy play. And then Na'Vi, being all the way out in that northwestern loot spot, had to come in, play it carefully through Picardo, behind everyone else. Ooh. So here comes the move. Reciprocity going to go for a bit of an anchor play. SKUIJKE holds center, and they sweep towards the east.
I'm not sure. I don't think they realize the danger of NIP, because NIP are basically stopping Na'Vi making the push right now, because as soon as they go up on that brow of the hill, NIP have vision on. Look at Vard, look at MBS, they all have vision, they all have positional points, and there we go. Best Losh goes down, Vard catches him out. The second they try and make a play on Reciprocity, catches him out. The irony here, by the way, and everybody, I'm sure in Twitch chat, is absolutely saying it, SIMSY, DA, 0 kills, but he is on the central point. He's dead center of this Phase 9 circle.
Hey, PUBG can be a survival game. I got told enough times at the start for mocking anyone who did it that way. So it can be won out like this. You can get your points, and if you're playing with a very poor hand, you lose out on those rotations, you got to make up for it. But the blue will start pushing these teams forward, and Na'Vi sadly have been culled enough that they can no longer be the aggressors. They are now kind of sitting back and seeing where the moves come from. Vard still getting glimpses here and there. Plenty of smokes as well. I like that. They can now just kind of corner off one side, smoke out the east, keep Na'Vi away, focus on Reciprocity. There's SIMSY, time to strike, trade comes in. Vard is there, and NIP control the south still.
Gets the single kill in, gets himself 4th place for the team. And now Na'Vi, look how clustered they are.
Oh,
one single nade, but they're going to go
Monkey
through the smoke in towards Monkey. They get around the side. Shiv sees one, gets the spray down. Senya doesn't work. Monkey delivers, and Shiv, the French connection, working wonders for Reciprocity. And Na'Vi go down in 3rd place. And now it's a 3-on-3. NIP with the defilade really to work in their advantage.
And I love how Vard's playing this, so proactive, moving up into the prime position. Needs to be careful to not overextend. Reciprocity need to come to him. He is at the center point here, if I'm not mistaken. Miraku's holding his western side, and that's the cover you want to come in. Really good synergy from NIP, holding down those vulnerable spots.
Picking 6 kills for Vard already. They've got nades, of course. Don't forget, they have a lot of smoke. Shiv could be pivotal, sees him. MBS gets the spray down, knows exactly where he is. Miraku's off the left-hand side. The nade catches Monkey off. Shiv, the last man standing with nothing, and they know his position. They know he's at those barrels, and now NIP could be picking up first game of the day. 10 kills and counted as Shiv just plays on the edge. Miraku will have his number any second. The second that smoke dissipates, just gets a little look to the side. He's on the central point, but he's getting smaller and smaller, and they're living the smoke life now. His only hope really is that the blue does its work. He's using the can, gets around the side, and Miraku takes him down. The second he shows ninjas in pajamas. They played it from the south. They played it calm. Vard with 6 kills in that game. A fantastic performance for them overall.
Yeah, and playing it out so well. You could have given them credit earlier, but I loved how they held that southern position and then kind of positioned perfectly for that 3v3 at the end there.
And so NIP, there were obviously 3 players. They lost 1 member to G2 because they were pushing the same compound that G2 were in.
Yep.
They also had Navi on the back. So NIP, to make that call to continue south, go clockwise around the circle, it absolutely paid dividends. Some great shot calling from them there to just go down low, keep their heads down out of really the majority of fight and cleaning up. They were cleaning up teams. They took down CrowCrowd. They took down GamerLegion. They were just picking up the little snakes out there. And as you can see, Sam is down there with the boys.
I am here with the boys from Ninjas in Pajamas. Let's chat about this because we were all sitting at the desk over there watching Reciprocity, deciding that it was probably a wreck win, and then you guys just came out of nowhere and took that compound. Walk me through that end there.
I mean, we play from the south side of the zone. We chose to play from south, and basically we just held our sides, and we're coming slowly into the zone and using every opportunity we saw when other teams fought. Killed a bunch of solos. Like I think Alex killed like 3 or 4 solo players. So yeah, just took it one step at a time and managed to end it out.
Talking about those kills, is that something you're paying attention to now? You know you're in the second last week. You want to get as many points on the board. Do you guys actively now seek those kills out?
I mean, it's always important to seek kills, but you shouldn't do it to the point where it's going to get yourself killed. So you have to like balance it out.
In terms of pace as well, a little bit slower from you guys. Reciprocity was looking quite confident, was obviously getting a bit of aggressive there with Na'Vi as well. Are you strategically thinking about pacing now, changing it up, speeding up, not being as aggressive sometimes?
Yeah, for sure, especially in the late game. In the late game, we've always been too quick. We're always the team making the move, and in the late game, it usually gets you killed if you're the first team to make the move. So we kind of just let it play out, let them kill each other, and then we just cleaned up.
There you go, the first chicken dinner of week 5, NIP, take it, well done. Let's head back to the desk.
That's right, thanks Sam. NIP with a powerful start here to get things going. Plenty of kills to boot as well here for this first chicken dinner of the day. Joining me, Froz, an Avenger. How many kills did they actually have?
11.
11 kills.
Yeah.
So a very good start for them to get things going. And as they mentioned, the circle exactly wasn't favorable to them to get it all the way towards the end, but they made the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, there was 2 key points to the win. One was, as Demon mentioned there after the game, how they were transitioning down to the south and playing slow from there. And then we heard them in the interview there as well. They were playing slow, making sure all the other teams, they need to fight each other. And when they do, they're going to lose people. They're going to not be in position, not ready to move out. Meanwhile, NIP, they take position, and they're ready to take any fight from there.
It's so common knowledge from the teams that they know once there are kind of 3 big teams left, they know that they need to be the ones not engaging. And it's lovely to see how kind of aware they were, especially how they were positioning themselves. They were taking control of the circle while the 2 other teams were fighting it out. Na'Vi got eliminated, and then Reciprocity, obviously, in the end, got eliminated completely by NIP.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights here from our first game of the day. This is highlight worthy, I agree. Keep showing me the car skidding away on its roof. Sorry very much. Sorry, Mr. N47. It's okay.
Yeah, Vasco surviving with 1 HP there. Super rare to see this, but this even more unfortunate. We saw a lot of car explosions, and I like that, especially in Phase 3. You can't say you can't think that you have a free rotation in the car,
sure.
even if you have a supercar.
I mean, yeah, we had a lot of hardships this game, so that was one of the reasons why there was so many people in the vehicles trying to make those rotations, getting away from that rotation and getting the way into the circle. Right. Now, again, Liquid, 16th place though.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was once again their rotation. They ran into TSM and got wiped out in Phase 3 there when they were trying to rotate into the circle.
This cannot be a common occurrence anymore for them. They have to be, you know, stepping things up a little bit. And it's weird that we're saying this about a team like Team Liquid of all teams, Avenger.
Yeah, I mean, you can have some ups and downs. And as I said in our kind of in the pre-show is that if you want to be ahead of the curve, if you want to be ahead of the meta, you have to try new metas, new defining. But there's many things that are going wrong before you're actually trying to define this. Rotations isn't one thing. Rotations is basically timings. And if you don't change your timings, you will get caught out, especially with 96 games.
I mean, we've seen them before. They were crushing in Phase 2, having 8 wins. But at the same time, for the 3 last weeks of Phase 2, they didn't get a single win. And so far, after 4 weeks here, they only got 1 win.
The only team with 0 points here for the first game of the day. Spread out elsewhere here. Razor Edge get themselves 3 points. Likewise, so do ENCE and TSM. Let's take a look at our 1 through 8 as well. As up towards the top, no doubt, that 21 points coming in up to the top here. 4 Ninjas in Pajamas. Big points for them. And GamerLegion and Reciprocity even 12 points apiece.
I mean, GamerLegion going out in 5th place, but still getting those 9 kills.
Yeah.
That's really huge for them. That's going to boost them up a little bit. They were down in relegation zone. They need as many points as possible right now to push them up from those spots.
We definitely heard a little bit of fire coming from the arena with GamerLegion.
I liked especially when GamerLegion wiped out Desperados. You could hear that they were shouting. The one thing that I really like it is because that they're sitting opposite of each other. So they can actually taunt each other when stuff like that happens. So you could really hear that. That was really lovely.
Yeah, I mean, we heard it during the first knock there from GamerLegion onto Desperados. Straight over, it was like, knock, go, 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 push, push, push.
I am all for psychological warfare, I think. Absolutely. I want more of that all day, every day. So you can see Vard hitting the lucky 8. So great for him. And all
He's
the way
going to play
down
the lottery this weekend.
Should do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We know a few winners of lotteries this week. We do. One of my friends won £4,000. I don't know how that happened. He's usually one of the most unlucky people on the planet. But he won £4,000. He owes me a curry now. Probably owes me more than that, to be fair. But anyway, moving on. Of course, that is our first game of Miramar done and done and done. And now it's the stage resets as we go to game number 2 for the day. Is that what you think happened?
I'm not quite sure.
No, because you know what did happen? A big shout out to our sponsors there from Samsung, joining us along here for PEL Phase 3. It's great stuff, great stuff. Very cool monitor that I've been able to play on a little bit as well. Gentlemen, Miramar, next game. Thoughts regarding it?
So we saw M47 getting themselves 5 kills, but they went out on 12th place. We do know they're chasing for that chicken dinner. You said it. Ivan said they're not getting a chicken dinner this week. So if they're not going to get a chicken dinner, hopefully they'll get a lot of kills like in the last game there because they want to get the points because NIP actually got above them with that last game there.
And also GamerLegion, if they want to step out of the relegation zone currently, we saw them with other kills. We see them capable of doing so. I want to see that continue because currently they are in the bottom 4. And there's a little gap, or slight gap, 40-some points up to the other guys. But with this game, if they continue this, they can get themselves out of relegation zone and kind of rejoin our mid-pack.
It was nice and reciprocity that kind of on that cusp, kind of holding those guys down. And as you say, 40 points is no small feat, to say the least. We have seen those recoveries happen, though. One of those teams was ENCE in Phase 2, but can that happen here for them or GamerLegion, etc.? Remains to be seen. Gentlemen, beyond all of that, though, CrowCrowd sitting kind of middle of the pack right now, 8th coming into today. You guys were already talking about the idea of the PGC points for them, but I think this team has even more to show us when it comes to this kind of stage, because they've been able to do it well in the past. That was Win Strike, and obviously with
so they are above average team, right?
Yes.
But they need to be a little bit better than above average to be up there, especially with NIP once again winning a game. We saw him last week. Wonderful day 1, wonderful day 2, terrible day 3, but looks like they're back here on track.
We saw them in week 3 with 122 points. I want that level of CrowCrowd to be able to see them in PGC. If they don't do that, they're not going to be up there. They're not going to be close enough. They're currently 26 points behind their closest competitor, which is M47, and then a little bit of points up to NIP. So it's still kind of close, but I want to see the 100+ points from them this week if they want to be able to close out in Super Week.
I mean, the big fight is for a 6th spot for PGC that they're fighting against NIP, though, because M47, let's be honest, they need to win the phase to be able to go to PGC. And also, as I mentioned before, NIP and CrowCrowd, they ended up on the same points in Phase 2, meaning they came in here with the same global points. So whoever's going to be on top of those teams would probably be the team who's going.
It's going to be a battle for sure. Going to be a battle. Make sure to go over to Twitter with the hashtag AskPEL. Ask us your questions, your burning questions, desires, maybe not desires, but your burning questions, and we can try and answer those here throughout the week as time does go on. For now, though, it's time for a break. When we come back, we will have Miramar, but before that, let's check in with Sadovnik here from 7.